Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Haitian Times Reporters Roundtable webinar. We're all so glad you could join us today for this important conversation. My name is Natalia Swaza, a senior public relations major at Hofstra University, and I'll be guiding us through this session. Before we begin, a few housekeeping notes. This webinar is hosted on Zoom. A recording will be shared after today's session with all attendees and shared to our platforms. This chat is open for comments and the hosts and panelists throughout the program. Please pay attention to the chat box throughout the program. My colleagues will be sharing links related to points brought up during this program. You'll notice a Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. Please use this feature to ask any questions, which we'll be addressing during the Q&A portion of this program. Now, let's get started. It's my pleasure to introduce our host, Vanya Andre, publisher and editor-in-chief of the Haitian Times and assistant professor of journalism, public relations, and media studies at Hofstra University. Vanya, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Just give me 1 second, everyone. Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that it's a Thursday evening. It's a week away from Christmas. We're in the middle of the holidays. And so the fact that all of you can join us today really means a lot. Again, my name is Vanya Andre. I am the publisher and editor-in-chief of the Haitian Times. And I am going on, I believe, my 13th year with the Haitian Times. And it's been quite a journey. Being here for more than a decade, I've witnessed lots of ups and downs. I've grown a lot with the organization and have been able to have a front seat at a lot of my colleagues' growth and experience throughout this time. This year for us has been an eventful one, to say the least. At the forefront, obviously, are the policies coming out of the Trump administration in terms of immigration. These policies have impacted our community in a great deal of ways, and we've really done our best to provide nuanced coverage in terms of what that means for Haitian families across the country and the world. But there's also been a lot of upheaval back home in Port-au-Prince with instability and violence, the type of violence that reverberates throughout the entire country. Despite that, we're really proud to have been able to cover this in a very nuanced way and be a source for international and mainstream coverage so that way they can understand that what happens in Haiti does not happen in a vacuum, and there are a lot more other details than what we typically see on talking points on the likes of CNN and MSNBC and some of the other mainstream outlets that typically cover Haiti. It was also a big year for us as a company. This year, we've already seen about 1.7 million people visit the Haitian Times, garnering about 2.5 million page views on the Haitian Times. These are more than 1.7 million people who are invested in our journalism and the work that our reporters and editors are doing. We've also seen an increase of 40% from traffic of last year. But not only did we see increase in traffic, we also did a lot more to reach our audience last year and this year. Last year, we embarked in a 9-city listening tour where we spoke to our readers to really understand what their pain points were and what they really wanted to see coming out of coverage from the Haitian Times. All of this culminated in Echoes of Strength, which is a project that I will be sharing a link with you all in a moment, where we really got to have a front view and see what exactly our readers were really expecting from us and the role that we can play in filling their information needs. Last year, we also, not only did we listen to our audience, we've also made moves this year to deeper engage with them. In May, we hosted a summit in Indiana where we brought Haitian American nonprofit leaders, elected officials, and community organizers to help the local power structures there better serve the most vulnerable in our community. We also took steps to memorialize our work through a partnership with the Queens Public Library, where we digitized print editions of the Haitian Times, a major milestone for us as we celebrated our 25-year anniversary last year. Today, you'll be hearing from my colleagues at the Haitian Times and about their work and get some of the behind-the-scenes tidbits in terms of how they do their work, how certain pieces of coverage make it to the Haitian Times, and just some of our thought process in our editorial journeys. First, you'll hear from Onsheri, our senior reporter, which is someone that I am so proud to have worked with. Ons reached out to me, I want to say about 7 years ago, a cold email. He was a journalism student at the time and just expressed interest in wanting to cover sports for us. At the time, we were working with a handful of interns, a handful of student reporters, and really didn't really even have the infrastructure to be able to take someone like him as fresh and earnest talent and cultivate it. But he stuck by us, and I'm so proud to have seen his professional journey throughout the 7 years. The culmination of that, I would say, or one of my brightest moments for him is in the wake of the assassination of former President Jovenel Moïse. Onsheri took the lead in covering that development and was in talks with the likes of Reginald Boulos, who called him immediately to say that he was not implicated or he had nothing to do with the assassination. He's been in talks with the likes of Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier. He is somebody that is a trusted source of information both in the diaspora and Haiti, and I'm incredibly proud to have worked with him and to see his trajectory over the last 7 years. Most recently, he's led coverage for us in the World Cup and will continue to do so next year. And his insight has been so valuable that the New York Times Athletic even reached out to him to get his insights on their coverage about the World Cup and what it means for Haiti to place in it. So I just want to say for a moment, thank you on so much. We, again, appreciate you so much, and you're one of our most trusted and prized reporters. And with that, I'll kick it off to you, Ons, to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. Sorry for the noise outside. But thank you for the nice introduction, Vanya.
Are you
So, like she
welcome?
said, my name is Onsheri. I started my journalism career, I want to say in 2016 with City College. I was covering the soccer team for the school newspaper. That was my first time writing that I still remember about. I still think about before I go to sleep. I really enjoyed that time. I want to say 2 years after college, I reached out to the Haitian Times, like Vanya said. It's my first, official full-time journalism job. You know, I always call myself a Haitian Times baby because I started my career with the Haitian Times, and I'm still with them after 6 years. And it's been a pleasure. You know how as a sports reporter, well, as a journalist in general, you have this list of stories that you dream of writing about. Like I want to write about this player, I want to write about the soccer team, I want to write about this problem on the team, I want to do this. But there's a story that wasn't even on my list. It wasn't on my list because I never dared dreaming of that story to happen. It's Haiti making it to the World Cup. It's like the impossible happened. I never thought one day I would write about Haiti making it to the World Cup. Like I said, that was never on my list because Haiti, the chance was very, very low. Very, very low. It's almost like a miracle. Haiti making it to the World Cup after 52 years. And I get to cover it as a journalist. I got to write about it the night. I want to say it's probably one of the most emotional time as a journalist. Like writing about it almost in tears, you know. But I wasn't in tears. I man up. So I want to say that's the most exciting time of my career so far. The World Cup is gonna be in June. I can't wait for it to happen. Hopefully, I get to go to the games, interview the players and all that. So with the Haitian Times, I started in New York actually. Then I covered the Haitian community in Florida. Then I took a very short turn to Haiti. Now I'm covering Cap Haitien, which is the second biggest city in Haiti. So I'm covering Cap Haitien in sports. So in Cap Haitien, it's like I said in the beginning, it's like a dream come true. That's where I was born. That's where I grew up. So being here, covering your hometown is something not every journalist can say they're doing. And one of the stories that really got my attention, that I took the most pleasure in doing, is a story about compa. Compa is Haiti's, dance. If you say dance in Haiti, you think about compa. Every Thursday night they have those classes. Thursday night is known as compa night in Cavaisi. So I got to go there. I took some videos, took some picture. But what really caught my heart is how much Haitians are really investing, how much energy they put in compa, because they feel like it's a dance that's starting to die out because the youngsters nowadays they want to dance like Americans. So the old folks are trying to keep that spirit alive. I want to say, yeah, that's one story that really, really, really took my heart, the compass story. And I'm still in Cabaret until next year. So follow me for more stories. Thank you so much for having me.
Next up, we have Mac. Mac, she is also a Haitian Times baby, as Ons has mentioned, in the sense that Mac started her journalism career with the Haitian Times as well as an intern. And was with us for a few years, left, and then came back about 5, 6 years ago. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And Mac, has been such an amazing thought partner to work with. During the last 5 years when I joined Haitian Times, it was really, I like to tell people, it was a team of 1.5 to myself and the founder. And so having, an additional person to be able to brainstorm and just really have a tremendous amount of respect for her perspective and what she brings to the table. And so I'd like to kick it off to Mackleby.
Thank you, Vanya. Thank you, Ons. Thanks everyone for joining. As Vanya said, we know it's a commitment to make it to join us a week before Christmas. So I'm very grateful to see everybody who's on the call right now. Again, as Vanya said, my path in journalism and with the Haitian Times has not been a straight line, right? It's been a bit of a nonlinear path, as I like to say. And I love that about the Haitian Times. I was lucky back when I was an intern at Baruch College studying journalism to find a newspaper at the time, a literal newspaper you can hold in your hand that said Haitian on it, at a time where it was an anomaly. You didn't see newspapers that talked about Haiti in English in a way that you could understand. So for someone like me who was mostly an American child, even though I grew up in Haiti and was born there, it was a revelation and a great opportunity to have that um, to have that opportunity. So being the type of person I am, very curious, and being the type of person that Gary Pierre, our founder, is, and the whole entire staff of like co-leaders at the time, they gave me free rein to kind of do whatever I wanted to do, any story ideas that I had. they were supportive of. And they let me just be a part of the entire organization and got to do a little bit of everything. So understanding what went into things like Creole Fest, for example, at the time, and why it was important to engage with the community at that level at the time. You know, bringing people healthcare resources. This was before Obamacare, so being able to sign up for like free healthcare at the time was an amazing thing that we were doing as a news organization, and not even realizing that that is like part of what we should have been doing all along, what local news organizations, what community news organizations should be doing. And so being able to travel, to go to Haiti, to go to Miami, the Caribbean, even France at some point to cover our growing diaspora was really an opportunity that people back then who were fresh out of college were not getting. So coming back after a career in corporate communications, coming back here during COVID was a true pleasure to be able to meet Vanya, to work with Oz on a daily basis, and to be part of what I call now Act Two of the Haitian Times, maybe, where we're fully digital, right? Where we've gone from having a few original stories per week on the site to having several stories a day on the site. I'm not even counting, YouTube and different platforms. And having worked with people like Oz in our team in Haiti to cover the country in a different way, a couple years ago, I decided to lean into the storytelling more and not so much like managing reporters. And that led me to the special projects editing that I do now. You may be familiar with projects like, gangs, a look at the gangs in Haiti, right? We were calling them criminal organizations for 3, 4, 5 years ago before others dared to utter that word, where the idea of a gang was still just like, oh, these are like street toughs, where we knew that these were actually people, real cartel type organizations tied to the political class and who had control over how Haiti was evolving. So these types of stories, these types of investigations, we've really enjoyed doing, but we've also been able to push for conversations to happen a little bit more differently in the mainstream, as far as having people come to us to kind of understand more of what's going on, right? Like coming to us for the context that we try to provide. We've done that with a few other stories, including, distant neighbors, right? Where we looked at the relationship between Haiti and the Dominican Republic, what was going on with the migration there of Haitians after the assassination of Jovenel Moise, and how the DR was reacting, right? And doing sort of like what we're seeing now happen with the US and its policies towards migrants coming in from well, anywhere that's Black or brown, to be honest. So we've done those types of stories to try to provide context and humanity around the policies. We've been lucky to work with Owens to send him there, actually go to the DR and spend time with Haitians there to tell us like what he was seeing, how people were trying to still have a decent life because they don't have too much more of any options left in Haiti. Going forward, I'm excited to look at, wait, one more that I thought was really impactful for us was the Haitians in America series, right? This was a series of stories where we looked at where and how our diaspora in the US, like how our communities here were expanding beyond the coastal cities and going into places like Indiana, like Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, like Michigan, right? In looking at how our community was changing slightly, how you had second, third generation Haitians from New York and Boston moving to Michigan, for example, and now you had newcomers coming from Chile also moving there from Mexico moving there, how that was creating like a new type of Haitian American community. We decided to not only report there, but obviously to introduce the Haitian Times to those new audiences, right? And to try to partner and collaborate with a lot of the community leaders in those organizations as a way to pass on some of the knowledge and experiences that we've covered for the past 25, 26 years to those communities, right? Um, People who are not supportive of immigrants in the country were, they tried to intimidate us, they tried to attack us as an organization and personally, but we've persevered and we're continuing to do the work. And so now going into 2026, I'm really looking forward into taking that approach of not just reporting, but collaborating more with different people in the community and really diving deeper into highlighting the solutions, right? Like what's working in our community so that, you will be doing more stories that come from what we call asset framing in storytelling instead of deficit framing. So really, really looking into seeing how the community responds to that approach of continuing to light a path, if you will, as we grow. So I'll stop here for now and hand it back to Vanya or to introduce Fritz now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mac. As you all can hear, I mean, Mac has done an amazing job in shepherding our enterprise and investigative stories. I've added some of these links in the chat as she was sharing before and on, so I please encourage you all to take a look at that. Again, we will send all of these stories in a follow-up email for folks if they'd like to take a look at it. One of the things that Mac didn't mention that I think was really monumental this year was her Compa series that ties into some of Onz's work that he had mentioned. And so I'll be adding some links to that in the chat, but essentially this year was the 70th anniversary of 70th anniversary of Compa. And Mac did a great job really covering and giving an overview, not just of the history, but its impact on society, on our culture. She spoke to some heavyweights like Fafan from Tabu Combo. And yeah, I'll share some of these links. But with that, I'll pause for now and introduce you all to Fritznel Octave, our Haiti editor. Fritznel came to us, I think, in a moment that I could not have appreciated more. Fritznel has been with us, I'm going to say, about 2, 3 years now, and he has really just brought such deep institutional understanding and historical understanding of Haiti and all of its tentacles, right, in terms of history, political, society, and really has been able to be essentially an in-house encyclopedia for us. And so he's really been a resource for us and the team, especially some of our junior reporters and even myself as I'm still learning about what I don't know about the country and history and culture. And so I'm going to kick it off to Fritznel to share a bit more about his work and just some of the impact he's had and challenges in working with folks in Haiti because of everything going on.
Thank you, Vanya. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Ons. Thank you, Natalia, and everyone else who joined us tonight for this roundtable. I can't really I don't know how to express my gratitude toward what Haitian Time has been doing, and then what it meant, what the paper meant to me. As someone who really I I have over 25 years in this profession. I have been covered Haiti since I was like about 17 years old, and it's not even graduated from high school yet. I was already in the field as a reporter, doing community media and all that. So I work for um, several major outlets in Haiti, including organizations like Agence Haitienne de Presse, which is the equivalent of AP here, you would say, in US term. I work for some international news agency organization like IPS, Interpress Service, an agency based in Italy. I work for so many others, like with community media mindset, driven mindset. But joining the Haitian Time about over 2 years now um, was something special for me. Special because to me, journalism is about public service. And for all these years I've been working, and for the type of person I am, the way I see people, I value people, and I the way I think reporting should be about people. It's a centered, people centered everything you do as a journalist, because you're not only reporting on what's happening to people, how different issues impacting people, but that those same issues impacting you the same way as well. So it's about all about humanity. For some places I worked before, it's that it's just a job. You just filing in. But Haitian Times, we if it like to me, I always say this is a two-way street for us, and everyone who come to Haitian Times, so you will come, you go, you find this is an opportunity for you as a professionals and as a human being, but at the same time, it's you have the freedom to give in what to pour in, what you made of, what you're capable of doing. So you have that freedom. And that's what I found when I joined, and then when Gary, Pierre, and Vanya welcomed me to Haitian Time. So this have been the best thing that could happen. Um, Now coming to covering Haiti. So I lead a team, a talented, with talent, filled with talented individuals. Staff reporters, from staff reporters to freelancers. There's people who occasionally collaborate with us on stories. But I can't think of any way I can describe this more for the most part they are young individuals who are, hungry for professionalism, hungry to tell a story, to amplify a story that they are part of as well. Um, it's basically fundamental to everything Haitian Time is about. It's about a mission to basically accurately report on the issues consistently and also with humanity. So this is all in one package, is one all folded together. Um, so now how we decide on the stories to cover, because I always say that to the reporters in Haiti, is that Haiti is a mind filled with stories. So it doesn't matter what day in the week, if it's a weekend or weekdays or whatever month. So you just navigating through stories on a regular basis, like second after second. So many things to cover, and then we, as Haitian Time, we take the responsibility to say, okay, it's important to us to make sure that the Haiti story is told to the world, and then the way that I would say, in the most um, respectable way, with the eyes of an outsider, and people who live the stories, who understand it the best, better than anybody else. So that's how we see our role in Haitian Times. So other mainstream medias, whoever, they will cover stories. They mostly come in time of crisis. They come in to do headlines, doing natural disasters and or where this crisis hit here and there. So, and then after that, they fade away, they go. But we grounded, we ingrained in this story, we stay with the people, we stay connected with the people, we follow up, and then that's what we do. And then that's that, and that's in that sense, we need to always select stories with the most and all in our professional and ethical judgment, we feel like that will have that most impactful to people. So the question we'll always ask ourselves is that um, if we report on that story, how that benefits the people, you know, and then if we ignore the story, so who's going to be harmed? That's basically those two main questions we always ask ourselves before we decide, okay, you know what, we're going for that story because we don't have enough resources to cover everything that's going on. All this mind story, dive into that mind or mind of stories to just report on everything. But then we try our best to say, to see Haiti as a whole, not Port-au-Prince, like most mainstream media outlets will see is what's going on in Port-au-Prince. What about the provinces? What about Jamie? What about Tigua? What about Lakai? What about Capuchin, Port-au-Prince, etc., etc., you name it. Across Haiti, we have people on the ground just, following the story to tell the whole story, not just part of it, not what we feel that would hit the headlines better, but how this will have an impact on people. So if we say we report it or if we don't report it, what kind of impact the consequence that will derive from our decision about this story or that story. Okay. So now, so the other thing I'll talk about is that reporting in Haiti come with a cost. So the cost is mostly human. So everything, as I said, for everything is about humanity. So you're talking about those young reporters, most of them are young in their 20s. Okay. So they live the same situation. So being displacement, being transportation challenges, being rising costs, um, being insecurity, you name it, anything. So all reporters live the same thing on a daily basis. So to understand that covering Haiti right now mean that we're working with restrictions, restricted movement and insecurity, limited access to official data, trauma affecting both sources and our reporters on the ground. So that caused our team to basically take, serious safety measure at time, avoid sensationalism, especially, around violence. And also that, which is that this next thing is part of what journalism is about. It's about verifying information. But then we do it with the most a sense of responsibility as possible to make sure that even when speed is demanded or where timing is essential to publish a piece, so we'll make sure that we check it, we check every box as much as possible before the story come out. It's not about the speed, it's about how well we do what we do to make sure that we fulfill our mission as an organization. Um, so we're very transparent in what we know and what we don't know. If we don't know something, we don't know about it. We don't know. We check. We can't find a response for it. So we let you know. We tell you that we're not going to publish or run quick with a story, and then so for just for the sake of publishing and saying, then, well, we were part of the headline. So we don't. That's not who we are. So with that said, we'll report what we can confirm and then explain the limitations of our reporting if there's any limits. So that's come with trust, with um, ethics and independence. So for me, trust is not something you extract anywhere. It's something that you earn. You know, by spending time explaining to your sources, so why you are reporting on something, why you quoting, how you going to use the whatever they tell you, and then what publishing, that's whatever they tell you might mean for their safety. So we spend time sometimes to talk to our sources and the people in the community. We think that they have the authority as a source because we use Haitians as at the center of our reporting. So they are the authorities behind every story. They are the sources. So we want to make sure that we cultivate this kind of this kind of relationship with them, so they understand why we will say this as opposed to that. So sometimes we come across some certain concept being used in other media outlet out there. So we feel like that's not what we're going to call it. That's not what we're going to use. We're going to use it different, and then we're going to probably put an explainer out there for our readers to understand why we use this word that way as opposed to other way probably they see everywhere else. Um, Also, with the committee, we 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 take our job in a way that we don't feel political pressure. It doesn't matter. We don't take political side. We separate news from analysis and opinion. It doesn't matter if we're putting out an opinion piece out there, so it's clearly an opinion piece. If it's analysis of a story or something that's going on, so that's an analysis. And but when it's reporting, news reporting, and then so that's news reporting. So we always want to make sure that so our audience or readers, they see this within the work we put out there for them. Um, the last point I'm going to touch on basically is why consistent Haiti journalism matters. So Haiti is often covered only during disasters, as it tend to be distant to be like a cliche, like we repeat it so many times. But we need to because as far as I know, from the time I was a young boy, and then say looking at what's been said about us Haitians, what's said about Haiti as a country in the media is always something very superficial. So it's not a sin if we keep repeating that they do superficial work about us. Um, so we always try our best as Haitian Time to put historical context, political context, economic context. Every aspect of the story, which you take your time to make sure that this is clear. This is why if you see something that way, this is why. So as opposed to just say, oh, this is something, but we tell the people if you see it the way you see it, okay, here's the history behind it. This is the the economics behind it. This is the politics behind it. Okay, so the diaspora connections very important, and then explanation of why things are happening and not just what happened. So that's in general. And so other things we want to make sure that our readers understand. So how it's important to stand with us, to stand with Haitian Time. So you need to understand that Haitian Time, it's a platform, it's a bridge, and is a living record of Haitian lives, Haitian struggles, Haitian determination, Haitian autodetermination, Haitians, everything's Haitians. So Haitian Times is that platform, is that bridge. So, but we can't do it alone. We can't do it just with what we have as resources. So you have to stand with us. You need to continue supporting us, spread the news about us, share our stories when we publish them, and make sure that other people understand the need to support Haitian Time. Thank you very much, and I appreciate everyone for coming. I appreciate it. Back to you, Avanya.
So much, Fritznell. There's one thing that he mentioned that I really just want to pause on for a second because I think it really is symbolic of our approach. Our editorial strategy is about centering Haitian voices, right? The way that I like to think about how we approach our journalism is news from a Haitian perspective, regardless of whether it's somebody that's living back home in Haiti or it's a member of the diaspora. And so I think that's really crucial and is really the difference between coverage that you'll see coming out of the Haitian Times and some other outlets that do cover the community in a more episodic way. Another point that Fritz now mentions that I really want to hone in on a second is, that there is a cost to doing this, right? On one end, there is a human cost. Our reporters, our editors, they work tirelessly. You can only imagine covering Haiti and the diaspora, especially this year under this administration. We have been covering breaking news. Sometimes it feels like 2, 3 times in a week. And so it's a lot of dedication and passion that you see behind the words that you are reading every single day from the Haitian Times. This is a labor of love. This is a way that many of us stay connected to the community. And so that human cost is a very real one for us. There's also the financial cost of this as well, right? At the end of the day, journalism is not cheap to produce, right? It costs money to be able to send people to talk to folks, right? Traveling expenses, editing expenses. And so the way that you can support is a number of ways. Obviously, there are ways that you can support with your dollars. And many of you here I see on the call have donated, and I greatly appreciate your support. But other ways that you can also support our journalism is by sharing a story that you've read with a friend, with a colleague. You can sign up to our newsletter. If you see that we're having an event, sign up to attend the event. If you see something that we've posted on social media, like it, comment, share. These are all different types of currency that matter to us. And so again, I thank you all very much for joining us and just for taking the time to join us this evening, but more importantly, just being a reader, because this is a labor of love that we do for the community, for our readers, and for every single person that feels connected to Haiti, whether it's by blood, association, or love.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of our panelists for such an insightful discussion. We're going to be moving on to the Q&A portion of this program. Here's how you can participate. If you have a question, please type it in the Q&A chat box. And if you'd like to ask the question live, use the raise hand feature and we'll call on you when it's your turn. So we'll try to get as many questions as possible. So please keep them concise. And let's see what we have. So our first question is, how do you choose the stories you cover and assign them to reporters, especially when you have a number of reporters collaborating? Is the Haitian Times process any different from that of a larger media group? So if any of you like to answer that.
Can sign up to our newsletter. If you see that we're having an event, sign up to attend the event. If you see something that we've posted on social media, like it, comment, share. These are all different types of currency that matter to us. And so again, I thank you all very much for joining us and just for taking the time to join us this evening, but more importantly, just being a reader, because this is a labor of love that we do for the community, for our readers, and for every single person that feels connected to Haiti, whether it's by blood, association, or love.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of our panelists for such an insightful discussion. We're going to be moving on to the Q&A portion of this program. Here's how you can participate. If you have a question, please type it in the Q&A chat box. And if you'd like to ask the question live, use the raise hand feature and we'll call on you when it's your turn. So we'll try to get as many questions as possible. So please keep them concise. And let's see what we have. So our first question is, how do you choose the stories you cover and assign them to reporters, especially when you have a number of reporters collaborating? Is the Haitian Times process any different from that of a larger media group? So if any of you like to answer that.
I think it's a mix of things that comes into the decision making. So one, now that we do have a Haiti team, we have a Haiti editor, we also have a US editor. We first and foremost think about where is the story in terms of place-based, right? So if it's something that's happening in Haiti, we'll assign it to the Haiti team, the Haiti editor to lead, and vice versa for the US. What I will say is that over the last several years, we have started to cover the diaspora outside of US a bit more, and a lot of that is just reflective of the migration patterns of our community. I spend a lot of time thinking about what other communities mirror ours in terms of history, in terms of contemporary issues, and then also our migration patterns. And I've always found a difficult apple to apples comparison. And so our community is a vast one. We have, I think, about 15 million people on the island, but more than 1.5 million people in the US, documented, and including those who identify with Haitian ancestry. But that's not to count the hundreds of thousands that are not represented in those figures. And so as we are expanding our coverage just in response to what our readers are asking for and where our people are going, some of those decisions now become a bit nuanced in terms of who covers those. And a lot of it is dictated by availability. And then also, if it's something that's a bit more girthier, we pull McElvey in, especially when it has something to do with an enterprise or investigative story.
Great, thank you. The next question is,
One quick sec to the part of the question about what may be different from us than larger media groups is, we have a lot of discussions when we decide to cover a story on, how sometimes, right, which angle to focus on that I think other media groups don't spend as much time on. We do our due diligence to make sure that one, we don't feel like we're othering ourselves, right? Like we don't talk about, you know, Haitians like a mainstream news organization that's flying to Haiti for a week-long disaster or something, saying, Haitians are out protesting and stuff like that. Really try to bring people's humanity through by talking about, where in Haiti this person may be residing, right? Like these are the inhabitants or residents of this particular town or neighborhood who are feeling a certain way or doing a certain thing, right? And Fritz had alluded to this earlier when he said something along the lines of how will this impact the community? For us, a lot of times is this going to cause like more harm, right? Or not to bring out certain things because we do get tips and ideas that are very interesting, right? But sometimes we have to make calls around like how does it actually serve our community, right? When Fritz talked about journalism as a public service, sometimes you might have a really good story, right? But dropping it like just like out of the blue, like it's zen, could be more harmful to the community than not. So in those instances, we do take more time. It might take us weeks to figure out how to properly contextualize the story so that it comes off more as an information or education piece, right? That reflects our community, that reflects a moment in time in our community, that does have that element of, the Haitian Times writing the first draft of history on this particular topic so that we don't ignore what's happening, right? But we might decide on the when and how and who just might take a little bit longer. So that's how we try to stand out from other groups who are covering Haiti and talking about us, right? Instead of being more of a vehicle for our community, our diaspora, to convey information to each other and the rest of the world.
Thank you so much. The next question is, do you have any events happening in New York City? And if so, how can an undergrad student like myself get involved in the Haitian Times outside of reading articles and following on social media?
So we do have events occasionally. I wish that we had gotten this message a couple of years ago. We organized an arts and culture music festival out of Coney Island called Babash Creole the last 2 years, and then prior to that, the other iteration of that was Creole Fest, which we had for 15 years. We are in the process of planning out our calendars for next year. We are absolutely going to be hosting a fan watch party for the World Cup. And if you would like to chat in general about ways to get involved in the Haitian Times, I will drop my contact information in the chat, and please feel free to reach out to me.
Great, thank you. The next question is, how do most people engage with the Haitian Times? Is it through the website or social media platforms?
I can take that also as well. And I'd love to hear from my other co-panelists in terms of what they see on social. So in terms of, traffic and reading, I would say the majority of folks are reading our content on the website. I would say it's about maybe a 60, maybe 70 to 30% split. We have been doing a lot of work this fall. We have a new addition to our team. Fredner, which has been such an invaluable member who's really done a lot to help build up our YouTube presence. And so we're seeing a lot more engagement there. But I would say, in terms of readership, a lot more through the website. But in terms of engagement, like comments and sharing, I would say most likely it's going to be a mix between Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, but it depends on the type of content. So LinkedIn is where you will see a lot more engagement around our business profiles, success stories about the community. Facebook and Instagram is where you'll see a lot more engagement in regard to happenings that are coming out of Haiti in terms of what's happening specifically in Port-au-Prince with the gangs, political upheaval. And then Instagram, I think, is kind of like a catch-all where folks love to see the good, bad, and ugly and make up stuff in between. So I'll pass it on to some of my co-panelists if they have anything to add.
Well, for Facebook, so we have a good engagement on Facebook. If the stories is more towards sports, travel, um, art and culture, stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. This Facebook post is responding very well to engage.
I think I have one that's offline. Yeah, we covered the Labor Day parade, the West Indian, Labor Day parade every year. We go and we look at the Haitian presence each year. This year was amazing. So if you haven't seen anything, please go check it out. So I'm heading home after towards the end of the evening, and I got into a dollar van to get back home, and the van was like filled with people with with Haitian flags, their bandanas on and their head wraps and stuff like that. So naturally start talking to them and saying, I'm from the Haitian Times. What do you guys think? And this lady was like, oh, Haitian Times. I remember when the Haitian Times started. I've been there from the beginning. And she started to just tell me about all these events that we had covered. And the conversation it ended up not being something I could use really that much for the story, but in making that connection and her saying things like, I'm so glad to see you guys come back up and being out here. It means a lot that we have our own, news in the community. And so things like that, encounters like that feel really nice when they happen. Because, sometimes you're in the day to day, you're just banging out stories, and it's like, okay, someone on Instagram like loves it. They hate it. They think it came too late, or they think everybody knows that. Why is it even news, sort of thing. But to see people in the community share with us that what it means to just have the Haitian Times brand is really something special. And that type of engagement means more to me than the analytics from an emotional standpoint.
Thank you so much. And for the final question, it's which story this year created the most conversation and or which story this year was the biggest? So anybody could take that question.
I think it's going to be a few. I'm going to just start with the most recent one, I think, that we spent, I want to say, like 2 different editorial meetings talking about this was the Vive on the World Cup jerseys. I'll let somebody else add some more context to that, but that's the first thing that comes to mind for me. I also think about the Hotel Olafson was one. And this is pretty fresh because we today during our editorial meeting was going through our nominations for Newsmakers of the Year. And so we have very fresh on our minds all of the stories that really saw a lot of either traffic or conversation. But I think for me, it's Hotel Olafson and the Vive on the jerseys. But I'll pause and let some other folks answer as well.
Oz, I'm gonna throw you out there with the World Cup story. You know, do you want to talk a little bit about what that was like in Cap Haitien to experience with just like the people around you? Because I think obviously it happened online too, but
Right. Sure,
yeah.
definitely making the World Cup. But I want to say the journey was also, spectacular because Haiti actually lost hope after losing all the games. I forget which team, but we actually lost hope.
It was they did 3-0 against Honduras.
Exactly, thank
After
you.
that game, so all hope was fade away. Yeah.
Mhm. So the talk in Okaba was there's no way we're gonna make it. There we go again. Haiti gave us hope. They're not going to make it. Then the
Yeah.
last game we won. So I want to say the whole journey was one of the top stories, this year. And the talk around Haiti, it's that night, right? So many people say they cried. Grown men saying they cried. I interviewed one guy in Port-au-Prince. In Port-au-Prince, it's violent, gang violence, gunshots all the time. He told
Mhm.
me, I'm still hearing gunshots, but I don't feel stressed out because Haiti is going to the World Cup. That's how much it meant to Haiti. It decreased the stress. Uh, my soccer friends, that's all they're talking about. Where am I going to watch the games? I can't wait for the game to start. So I want to say definitely the biggest story this year for us was Haiti making it to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, and then also, Mark, another a big story to people, not only just people in Haiti, but also across the diaspora, especially people in South Florida, is is that IBC Airways, this
Mhm.
Fort-Lauderdale-based airline, so which inaugurated their first flight back in
Mhm.
on November 10 to Lekai. Lekai become an international destination via air travel. So
Mhm.
that was an amazing story. At the toward the end of the year, and then I was in Lekai around that same time. So I left Lekai on the 7th of November, and then people you can see on the ground how people was excited. People were excited, waiting for that to happen as IBC Airways was setting up to to have the first flight to Antoine Simon International Airport that just revamped and restructured and reorganized in a way to accommodate international flight.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go to Lekai sooner than later after seeing all of the stories that you put out there and also reading about your 13 days in Haiti, Fritz. Now that was such a special contribution to have someone go to Haiti and see it with like fresh eyes, but experience. It was a really just well done recounting of what it's like to be in Haiti right now. And I know that people have responded really, really well to that series. And I don't know yet what the numbers say about how well it's done from an analytics standpoint, but I know from all the feedback on LinkedIn and on WhatsApp and Facebook that it's doing really, really well. People really appreciate that view. So I hope that everyone on the call is able to check out Fritz Nell's 13 Days in Haiti three-part series. First, the other stories that come to mind for me are, all the immigration stories, right? Anytime there's an edict from Homeland Security or the White House about revoking Haitian TPS or stopping the parole program and, issuing some new date for people to self-deport, quote unquote, right? That brings in a lot of chatter. We try, obviously, to provide um, guidance through explainers and listicles and just resources to let people know what they should do or not do if they suspect that ICE is at their door or if they're afraid to go to work. So all of those, whenever they happen, they kind of just, there's a burst of activity and question as people try to understand what it means for them when we hear these announcements. So definitely the immigration stories have been a driver of interest and engagement. Um, I think last but not least, it's for me, it's been any culture story. The arts and culture pieces have been doing really well on YouTube, especially on that platform. People love to see things like people dancing compa, like the Compa Thursdays thing that happens in Okap that I'm sure Owens is missing right now to be here. I think that might have been our highest trafficked, one of the highest viewed like videos on YouTube, right? So again, if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. People really want to see, they enjoy seeing just like what Haiti looks like right now, what people are doing outside of the gangs and barbecue and all of this, right? Like how are people actually living their lives? And so I've seen that pattern with the compas stories and how people respond. As well as the pieces Vanya mentioned about the Vefe, right? Vodou's really becoming a topic of conversation as younger people or folks across the diaspora are rediscovering, what that religion is all about. So I think next up might be Creole, but that's a story for next year that I'll hold on to for now. So those
Yeah, but
are my top ones.
on the same token, Mark, about the compa. So
Uh-huh.
with compa, it's um, been recognized by in UNESCO,
Yes.
the
Last week.
immaterial patrimony of humanity. So that's another layer to this, like these preservations of that piece of creation by Haitians and that
Hmm.
in terms of art and culture. So there was this is a great story as well that hit well with everybody.
Absolutely.
I'll add just one more honorable, not even an honorable mention. This did generate a lot of conversation, which was the story that we covered, Rising from Miami's Underground Massisi Group Uplifts Haitian.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that's one too. Yeah.
Mac was the lead editor on that story, so I think you can give some color behind the reactions from the community, which, I think is very telling in terms of, in many ways that, in many ways that this group exists, right? In terms of our growth as a community, but also some ways that we still have a ways to go as a society.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different ways why this particular story is a meaningful one for me as the editor. One, it was written by Wedley Kazi, who's one of our newer freelancers, right? He's new to journalism, and he reminds me a lot about of me and of Ons when you have someone who's just starting out and they think they have an idea for a story, but they're not really sure how to execute it. And then it becomes a conversation of back and forth about, well, what's going on and how do you know these people? Do you have access to them, right? The second piece that makes it special is that over the past few years, our community has had a lot of conversations about, people who are queer, right? Back when I was coming up in journalism, the idea of like gay Haitians was so scandalous, right? But at the same time, it wasn't because we knew so many like artists and performers in particular who were, either gay or lesbian who identified as such. And so over the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or so, as the LGBTQ community has become more accepted, right? As more younger Haitians have felt more comfortable with themselves, and telling their families, like, this is who I am and this is what I'm about, right? I have seen more Haitian families not necessarily embrace their their children's identity, but the reaction from say like 20 years ago of like, Meto de yo, I get out of my house, isn't so it isn't the same story I'm hearing. So in some ways I feel like our community itself is evolving um, socially by virtue of just the world, right? Evolving. We're in different times now. And so to have a group of queer people based in Miami who are saying, we're going to reclaim this word, I think all of that went into their evolution and growth there. And so I just thought that it was important to do stories about different people in our community because one, we're not a monolith, right? And waiting until like say Pride Month or something to do a story about LGBTQ people in our community just doesn't make sense, right? We're just tokenizing folks, and that's not what we're about. So, they had an event going on. It was timely. We said go for it, and Wedley went and he delivered. So seeing the reaction on social was funny because it kind of mirrors some of the conversations we've had in the newsroom, right? Some people were like, Masisi, that's so funny because it used to be or had been a derogatory term for so long. And to have someone say, it's actually not derogatory. I'm like, we're reclaiming it. People on Facebook were like, yes, go for it. Other people were like, you're all going to hell, right? But for the most part, the majority of comments were positive and affirming. And it was just good to see that as Haitians, as Haitian Americans, we're able to see people and to see the differences within us and be supportive and not have that, reaction of, like mito dea and having these outcasts and divisions when we already have so many other divisions we need to work through as a community.
Thank you, Meg. There's actually one last question. Sorry, Natalia, I'm stepping on your toes for a moment, but I think there's one last question that I think would be a great way to wrap this up. And the attendee asks, what would be the dream come true for the organization in terms of media presence? What components of a media group that THT would ideally participate in, but currently lacks the manpower or bandwidth to pursue? Podcasts, YouTube channels, research, grant, academic journals, submissions, etc. I think each of us have a different perspective. So I'll start with you, Fritznell, first on my screen. What is that dream come true for you?
You mean in terms of
In terms of our organization's media presence, in terms of, what would you like to see us be able to do that we currently lack the manpower or the resources to be able to execute at the moment?
so I will always talk in the on in the perspective of Haiti. So to me, the the dream, the biggest dream I have is to see Haitian time present in every single city in Haiti.
Mhm.
That's the biggest dream. So if I can see this before I die, and then anytime I die, there will be peace.
What about you, Mac?
Um, I think we're already on this path, but right now there's this weird thing that happens where when there's a big story about Haiti, there's just so much coverage of it, right? That our coverage sometimes gets drowned out just by sheer like analytics and how algorithms work, you know? It's a very dispersed media ecosystem that we're experiencing right now between like huge mega news organizations, content creators, the people we call journalists in Haiti and here who have their YouTube channels. Everybody's a journalist now, right? So it really makes it more challenging sometimes to rise above the fray which is what we do, right? So my dream would be instead of to be more like how the AP calls elections in different states or counties or cities during election night, right? At least it was for the longest time. And like people went by with what the AP said, essentially. So
Mm,
my dream right now for the Haitian Times would be for us to like be that brand that people come to get like the real story, right? We already do this now, but we do it almost informally when people reach out to get coverage. They might feature us on, CNN or New York Times and all of that. But to have it be a more formal understanding that in the middle of everything happening and everything blowing up, the Haitian Times is your go-to source for anything that's Haiti or Haitian related. And nothing else kind of matters until the Haitian Times calls it, would be my dream.
What about you, Ons?
I say similar to Fritz and a little bit of Mac. For us to grow, like Fritz said, to have more people on staff in every city, that would be great. But not just grow staff wise, but also have more of an impact, I want to say. Like when you think of New York journalism, you think of New York Times. Anywhere in the world you are, you're going to take New York Times. In India, you're going to take New York Times. For Haitian Times, I don't think we quite global yet. I mean, even in Haiti, not everyone knows the Haitian Times because we write in English. It's mostly the diaspora. So yeah, that's my dream for the Haitian Times to have more of an impact globally.
Yeah. I'm right there with you on. It's like that's my dream. I want us to cover every single place that there is a Haitian community, even if it's 10 people. If there are Haitians in Taiwan, we have somebody, a freelancer there to cover it. Like I want us to capture Haitian stories, Haitian diaspora experiences everywhere. The attendee asked, podcast, YouTube, like I want it all, right? Like I want us to have shows on YouTube. I want us to have a podcast. I really want us to touch media and storytelling in all of the different formats that the internet and just this digital age affords us. I want us to be everywhere that there are Haitians and telling their stories, and that's my dream.
Yeah. So
that's great.
please donate is the moral.
Yes, please donate.
Yeah, yeah,
Continue to support us so we can try to make these dreams come true.
yes.
It's been 26 years now. We're transitioning. Gary's stepping away and Vanya's rising, and we've been happy to be in such good hands to have a leader who can really take us to that next level. So she can do it. We can do it though without
Mm.
a consistent source of funds. So please tell your friends if you've donated already. Thank you. Thank you. We know every dollar means something, especially in this economy. So Continue to donate or guilt your friends into donating and continue to support us to make these dreams come true. Thank you so much for that question, Wesley. That was a really good one.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today and being a part of such an important conversation. A big thank you to our hosts, Vanya Andre, and all of our panelists for sharing their expertise. Before you go, like they mentioned, please make sure to sign up for the newsletter to stay informed and donate to support the work. And then also follow on social media. It's all right here. And then we appreciate the time and engagement. Have a wonderful evening, and we hope to see you at our next event. And all of the newsletters and as well as the donation links are in the chat. So please make sure you check them out. Thank you all so much.